What's up, guys? Monday edition Rhino Live Show. Tough weekend for Gamecock fans. Baseball team riding high, 11-0, top 10 in the country. Goes to Austin, playing Texas, 8-5, top 20 in the country. Should get 2 out of 3. Minimum get 1 out of 3. And you get swept. I'm just not sure about Mark Kingston, man. You know, he's a nice guy and he says a lot of nice things. He's a good speaker. That really doesn't matter to me. You know, I don't need you to tell me why you lost. I need you to tell me how you gonna fix it. And I don't see how they gonna fix it. We'll rewind the clock back. 1 year ago today or so, baseball ended. They just did away with it. COVID-19 shut it down. So for 1 year, Mark Kingston, all he really had to do was key in on lineups, his best players, starting pitching, relief pitching, fielding. Put all lineup together to be the best 9 on the field at every single time. Well, somehow, you end up with Wes Clark, and you know that guy. He was leading the nation in home runs, I think, last year when it stopped. Gamecocks was 12-4, looking all right. Wes Clark then hit some bombs, so you know that's your middle of the lineup guy. Andrew Eicher comes back with experience. He's in there. But somehow, you got Wes Clark at 3 and Eicher at 5, and you got a left-handed first baseman at 4. That's not very good. And I don't know how you didn't know from spring, summer, fall, winter to the start of baseball season that that's not your optimal lineup. That guy's not an SEC caliber cleanup hitter. But Wes Clark is. And Andrew Eicher is your best all-around hitter with power and average. How is your lineup not Eister at either 2 and Clark at 3, or Eister 3, Clark 4, Mendham 5? I mean, so much so that yesterday, the guy you had paid as your cleanup hitter is batting 7th. I mean, if he's your cleanup hitter, if he's your dog, how's he 7th? I don't get it. I don't. To be a hitting guru and coming from a spot where you're supposed to be one of the top guys in hitting, how do you mess that up? How do you not have a lineup set, your optimal lineup? You had a year to figure it out. And you put a guy who's not that good in the cleanup spot. There's nobody there to protect Wes Clark. I don't get it. Gamecocks still don't run very well, don't situationally hit, don't bunt. Earlier, the Texas, the first game, bases loaded, you get that bunt down, you got a 1-0 lead and the bases are still loaded. Instead, you hit a sacrifice fly. You get a run in, but it gives them an out. They make a fielder's choice to get out the inning. If there's only one out, shortstop doesn't make a double play there. You score another run, and who knows what happens. You can't bunt. They just don't do things well. You had a year to get this thing figured out, man. Eicher's your best hitter. If you put him in the 2-hole or the 3-hole, put Clark at the 4-hole, and then find somebody to protect him. Another thing, your shortstop can't bat his weight. You can't handle the bat. I don't need a guy. This ain't the 1990s or late 80s, early 90s where you could have Rafael Belliard play shortstop solely because he saves you runs on defense. There's got to be a guy in that dugout who can play shortstop that, yeah, he might make one error a weekend, but he'll give you 3 runs at the plate. I'll trade 3 for 1. Khalil, he's all right with the glove, but he's not that great with the bat. Skylar Meade's done a heck of a job with the starting rotation. Them guys are solid. I got no problem with the starting rotation. Yesterday, Boston got squeezed a little bit on that inside pitch to righties. I thought he had several strikeouts he should have had. But early on, you knew the umpire wasn't giving you the inner half, so you got to adjust. And he's still a solid pitcher. Starting pitching is going to keep the Gamecocks in there and the occasional home run. The problem is I don't think they can score. If a team scores more than 7 runs against them, they're in trouble. I don't think they can keep up. They got to win a lot of 4-3, 3-2, 5-4 games, something like that. They can scratch a run here or there. But this isn't a Ray Tanner team that can score 7 runs in the inning and get you back in it. From top to bottom, they're just not very good. I mean, yesterday, your Tuesday night starters batting cleanup. I don't get it. So I think we're in bad spot right here going into SEC play. Vanderbilt. If you can win one game against Vanderbilt this weekend, that's a win for me. I'll say that. So we'll see. Usually the averages come back down to life once you get out of non-conference to conference. We've had a lot of guys hit a lot of home runs against, I won't name them. Well, I will. John Jones a couple years ago, 5 years ago maybe, for the Gamecocks, is leading the nation in home runs. And then once the Arkansas series came, you didn't hear John Jones' name again. He ended up batting like 191 for the season. There's a big difference between hitting 85-mile-per-hour fastballs and 95-mile-per-hour fastballs. Big difference in the sliders and breaking pitches, too. So we're going to figure it out. If not, man, I mean, I don't know how long you put up with Kingston. You can say he's a nice guy and he says the right things, and that's good, man. But that's what I look for, like a associate pastor, a Boy Scout leader. That's not what I need in a baseball coach. I don't care what, about what you say or do. I just want to win baseball games. There's some stories from Ray Tanner's era back at coach that most of you probably had never heard of. That dude was tough. That dude would penalize you, man. He punish you if you did wrong. He did some off the wall stuff that would be looked down upon in this day's game, but he built winners and champions. So there you go. We'll see what happens this week in Vanderbilt. They win one game, I'll be happy. If they get swept again, you can get out of here, man. Because Kingston, his last full year in 2019, they were 28-28 and like 6-22 in league play. 6-22, man. It's the SEC, man. You gotta bring it. You can't be having a marginal talent out there. You gotta have dogs. So, not too happy about it. We'll see what happens this weekend. Moving on to basketball, Frank Martin supposed to be having a meeting with Ray Tanner today to discuss his future, which, from what I hear, the future options are not being the head coach at the University of South Carolina anymore. I don't know what the other options are. I guess they figured out how much they're going to pay him to leave, or maybe give him another role. I don't know. I'm sure he's not going to take another role. He's probably going to take his money and run, probably south. He's got some roots down in Florida. I don't know how long the Miami coach is going to be there. Maybe he takes over that job. I think Frank Martin's a good coach, a good dude to a certain degree. I just don't think he can get the talent to compete in the SEC or a Power 5 conference. And I say that because guys just don't want to play for him, man. I mean, and I don't blame him. Nobody wants to play for a screamer and a holler, a guy that's going to call you MF or a dumbass, a bum during the game. He's got that whole tear you down, build you up mentality, but man, nobody wants to hear that garbage. The game has changed, and you can say it's because players are soft, and maybe so. Maybe you're right. Maybe they are soft. But whatever the reason is, you're not getting the kid from Ole Miss that went to Irmo. You're not getting John Morant. You're not getting guys, kids in Blythewood and Northeast and Upstate. Nobody's looking to come play for Frank Martin. You're getting a bunch of projects. And you're recruiting guys who aren't very good. You're just getting guys who aren't very good. They can do one thing well. They handle the ball well. Okay, and what else? That's it. Play good defense. Okay, can they shoot? No. Can they shoot sometimes? Maybe. There's no consistency with this team. One night a kid will score 24, the next night he scores 6. I mean, there's no leadership on this team. And if you make a mistake, you're going to get cussed out. I just don't like anything about it. I've said it since he was at Kansas State. I didn't want that guy here. I just don't think you can build a program. Can he take a program like Toledo or maybe a mid-major and fire them up and teach them how to play defense and win some close games? Certainly, because their competition level will all be 3 stars. The problem is he's trying to take 3 stars and compete with 4 and 5 stars in the SEC, and he can't do it. He can't recruit guys that we need to win basketball games. And then you get so many projects that some like Kotsar and some like Silva pan out, but Cud and Gee and Kada and all these guys don't pan out. They here a year, maybe 2, and they transfer and play somewhere else. I mean, then you got a white kid, like I've mentioned this before, but you got a white kid on the roster that averaged 9 points a game in high school. Wasn't even all region in his region. You're not going to win basketball games with dudes like that, man. Those dudes are your academic guys. North Carolina Dukes always had the 2 white guys on the end of the bench. They just for GPA, man. The only purpose is to help the GPA out on the team. They're not there to play. They shouldn't be in the starting lineup. You got guys who are out of shape. Center who started the last couple games, 6'8", something like 6'8", 320. Well, that's cool if he's Stanley Roberts, if he's Shaq, but he got no ball skills. He's just a big guy. He's like, and that's cool in high school. You can get by with that, just having a big guy. He's not athletic. Can't play defense. Can't power dribble, go up and dunk. He can't do anything. He's just a body. So what are we going to do? Wait 3 years before him to figure out how to dribble with his left hand, how to do a little jump hook? We don't have 3 years, man. So Frank Martin's gone. Let's get Michael Boynton from Oklahoma State. He played here, alumni, done some good things with Oklahoma State. Open up the checkbook, whatever it costs. If you want to, it'll pay for itself. If South Carolina basketball is good, Colonial Center will be full. I know it. I've seen it. Guys, fans travel for the team sports that are good. Basketball will pay for itself if you get a good coach in here. Paying $1.25 million. Give him a $250,000 raise over what he makes it at Oklahoma State. Sorry, Frank. You good and all, but and another thing, this whole building men. What does this come from? Is he recruiting guys from the Oliver Gospel Mission? Is he getting guys from an orphanage? These kids should be grown men. They should be built men from home. These kids they come from a system of they played in high school athletics. Some of them played AAU. They're not broken bums that you're trying to recondition their life. They're going to the University of South Carolina. They should be able to perform as adults. It shouldn't take Frank Martin to do that. And I hadn't seen one yet be the like a politician or be anything in the limelight to help other kids or change the world. So these grown men you're making, you got three or so in the professional basketball, and the rest, what are they doing? How did you change their lives? What did you do, Frank Martin? Why am I giving you a pass for building grown men when hell, the football team's got a guy in the Senate? You got multiple football players that are coaches and teachers, baseball program as well, own businesses around the Columbia area. I don't see where you've done anything, Frank Martin. You're giving the guy a chance to get an education, but I hadn't seen what you've done to make them better people. So I'm out. Frank Martin, you go. All right, let's move on to golf. I love it. Had the Players Championship this weekend. Lee Westwood, Bryson DeChambeau, part 2. But neither one could hold off Justin Thomas. I'll be honest with you, I don't like Justin Thomas. He looks like a kid I like to hit in the ribs about 3 times. He's just quirky and always just shrugging his shoulders and making facial expressions. Silver Spoon, he's a country club kid. I mean, I don't necessarily don't like country club kids. I just don't like ones like him. But Lee Westwood, great story. Got his girlfriend on the bag. Says it keeps him, leveled. But the problem I see is she gives no assistance whatsoever as far as the golf. On hole 17 Saturday, he hits one about 20 feet past, downhill putt. And she's probably 40 feet away over there like I would be, looking in the crowd and, got her fingers in her mouth and looking around. She has nothing to do with the golf. She totes the bag. He gets the club. He selects the club. He looks at the yardage. She gives him a fist bump. Hell, I can do that job for less money, 2.5%. I'll be your man. I'll have a damn white towel and I have Sandstorm on my iPod blasting in the gallery, and we'll be getting fired up on the tee box if that's what you need. If you need a cheerleader, I'll do it for 2.5%. I mean, I just don't see. He comes up short again. And Bryson DeChambeau, he pissed away a couple of them. bad tee shots, and then hit one off the heel there, went about 100 yards in the water. So he choked it up and left the door open for Justin Thomas. I was hoping anybody other than Justin Thomas. Anybody other than Justin Thomas and Patrick Reed, good with me. But golf's great. We talked about this on the last episode. It's in good hands, man. You got young guys like Justin Thomas. You got old guys like Lee Westwood. Spieth's making a comeback. Morikawa's out there. Hovland's out there. You know, you still got storyline with Rory. Either he's really good or he's really bad, like he was this weekend. That keeps the media going with that. Bryson doing crazy things, hitting balls, you know, hitting pitching wedges 200 yards or something crazy, 180 yards. Where, you know, back when I was growing up, a pitching wedge is like 100 and in, and now it's, you know, 120, 140. He's hitting that sucker like most people hit, like a 6-iron. It's crazy. It's good for the storyline. And the Masters is on deck. It's coming up soon. It's gonna be fun to see how it all shakes out with all these guys playing. You know, and you still got some guys who we haven't seen a lot of that was strong last year. Matthew Wolf's been struggling. I don't know what happened to him. Harris English has been struggling. He came on strong last year. So the Masters is gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be unique. There won't be any Tiger there, which I hate, but I'm looking forward to these majors upcoming. And Dustin Johnson, he hadn't been playing that great. You know, he struggled this past week. For the end of last year, man, he couldn't beat him. He was killing people. Now he just can't figure it out. And John Rahm's one of them guys who plays like shit. He plays like half his round like me, and then the other half like Tiger, ends up 6 under. You know, he hits one in the water, he hits one in the dirt, hits one in the woods, and he always somehow comes back and ends up being like 6 under. He's usually in the mix. So anyway, golf's good. March Madness will start up. I'm gonna look at a bracket, fill one out. I'll probably do like a show Wednesday on who I think is gonna go. It's hard to say, especially this year with so inconsistent. You know, Michigan and Illinois playing really well. Ohio State, Big Ten's got some good basketball. ACC's not as good. SEC, you don't know. Tennessee, Alabama, they play Arkansas. They play some good basketball. Gonzaga, Baylor, Texas Tech. So each conference has got 3 or 4 dogs in there. So in any given night, and who knows, man? I mean, you might get a team like Gonzaga, get a COVID test, and boom, they're out. That could change the game immensely. So looking forward to that. March is great, man. I love March because you're getting into the Masters. You're getting into all the baseball. You're getting into Kentucky Derby. And then, like I said, March Madness, NBA getting on the second half of their season. Everything except football is really coming to light right now. Nice weather. Get outside. You can go to a sporting event, play golf or whatever. So love March. See you guys Wednesday for a March Madness preview. Unless Frank Martin gets fired, and I might need to have an emergency podcast. But if not, see y'all Wednesday. I never say this, but hit the subscribe button if you haven't. It doesn't cost you anything. Just hit the button, subscribe. Lets me know who's watching. I think there's like 1,420 of you right now. I'd love to get to 1,500. So hit the button, like it, share it. Talk to y'all Wednesday.